Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pitch Perfect. I am one of your hosts, as always, Elaine, and joining me today, as always, we have the lovely Kiki. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so good. We're off to a great start this morning. This
We
evening for you,
always
rather.
are.
But yeah, no, things are fantastic. We're both back in our respective home countries, on our own time zones, not in the same one anymore. But yeah, no, today is sunny. It's kind of beautiful. Got the windows open. Got a little bit of breeze coming through. It's gonna be a great day.
Oh, beautiful. I love the weather forecast.
I just noticed because you can see like the reflection of my window on like the frame in the background. But yeah.
Yeah, while we were in Japan, I know the U.S. went through daylight savings. I don't know what's going on over in New Zealand, but when we were like scheduling this episode, obviously you know this. I'm just talking to the listeners. The time zones have changed, like so our time difference is not the same as it was pre-Japan. So yeah, it's a little bit later for you than it normally is, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's okay. The sun is beautiful.
The sun is beautiful. It's a wonderful day. I was gonna say I'm gonna enjoy it, but realistically, no. I'm gonna put on some laundry after this. Let's be.
You can enjoy looking at it.
Yeah, I can.
But don't stare like at the sun.
No.
Yeah.
That's not advisable.
Not advisable. We do not endorse that. Anyway, we have a lot to cover today. A lot has happened since we last sat down and talked. So, yeah, should we jump into it?
Let's get right into it, for sure. In a second.
I'm like, well, our first thing on the agenda is obviously we don't want to dedicate a ton of time to this, but we do want to briefly touch on the recent U.S. election results. And yeah, I mean, you're not American. I am American, so I've been feeling affected by this and scared. It's been an emotional week. It's been just a little bit of like it just hasn't felt real. It's like the world, it feels like it's just been like crashing in slow motion pretty much. So we just want to remind everyone that we have systems where we can offer support if you're also going through a rough time emotionally. There is a community here within Flesh and Blood that can maybe relate to some of what you're feeling. If you just need a space to vent, a safe space to vent and just talk and be with others who are feeling the same thing. So of course we have the Pitch Perfect Discord, and we also have the Rainbow Pitch League Discord, and you host a Discord as well, Kiki.
So as a queer focused, queer aimed Discord, of course, I also I'm also involved, also created. There's also the Rainbow Foils Discord channel, or Discord group. So if you're interested in that and you're within the LGBTQIA+ community and are over the age of 18, you can message me on Bluesky or Twitter. That's Kiki_LA93 for Twitter and at kikibird.bsky.social for Bluesky. And yeah, you can find me on there and ask me for a link, and we can get you in there if you're looking for a more queer-oriented kind of support group kind of going on.
Yep. And of course, like the links to our Bluesky and Twitter accounts will be in the bio. The Pitch Perfect Discord is open to join. The Rainbow Pitch League Discord is not just open to join, so there won't be a link in there in the description for that Discord, but similar to the Rainbow Foils Discord, you can just message Kiki or myself or the Rainbow Pitch League Twitter account. We should make a Bluesky account for the league, but we'll get on that. But yeah, you can message us anywhere, and we can send you a link that the league that we run, in case you're unfamiliar, is for gender minorities in the Flesh and Blood community. So if you meet those qualifications, you can join that community as well. And the Pitch Perfect Discord is open to everyone.
Okay. So somber news out of the way. Worlds, Japan, Flesh and Blood. Exciting, everyone coming together.
Yeah. Very exciting news.
Yeah. Usually this is kind of the point where we kind of do our week in Flesh and Blood, but it's been a couple of weeks since, maybe even longer now that I think about it, since we last recorded. So there's a lot to catch up on, and the majority of that will be Japan focused, I guess. So I guess before that, maybe we should do our shout-outs, and we have some pretty big ones this week.
Yeah, we have some really big ones this week. I'm very, very excited about these shout-outs. The Mercy, one of our very own. I love Mercy. Mercy was a finalist at the World Championship in Osaka this last week. What's that? Yeah, last week. So
no, surely it's
last week. That was like last. Yeah, it was like a week and a half ago.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah, no.
Because it was Thursday. It would have been last Sunday, like the Sunday before this past Sunday.
Okay, yeah, I'm with it now. Time's coming back to me. Mercy, our inaugural Rainbow Pitch League champion, the very first champion, made it all the way to the finals of Worlds. What?
Incredible.
It's amazing.
I'm so proud of her. It was so exciting and awesome to watch. Yeah, there was the league was mentioned on stream also as one of her accomplishments, which was just like, honestly, that was just like a really cool thing to see for, I think, for us and for the community as a whole. But yeah, congratulations, Mercy. That was super exciting. If you did not watch the world stream, I would suggest going back and watching Mercy's games. Yeah, just Mercy's a beast.
Yeah, I actually saw her like earlier that day, just going through all the different matchups and stuff, and like working with Ellie and Yuki, trying to figure out the matchup as she prepared for the top 8. Because I believe she was one of the later top 8 matches to be played, so she had like quite a few hours, especially because the first few games went quite long.
Yeah, she was the last. Yeah.
So no, she put a lot of work into it, especially very much leading into the event, literally like the day before the event. Working with, like I said, Ellie specifically. I think she shouted Ellie out, right? As like the one who could have mentored her mainly through the deck. I know Ellie loves her aggro deck, so yeah, no, it was really cool to see Mercy. Very happy, very excited for her, and like maybe it's a bit of a spoiler, but she might be coming on the show fairly soon too.
Who knows? We don't. Just joking. Anyway, so that is a shout out to, of course, Mercy, and also Ellie for, I really do think that Ellie is like one of the best deck builders in Flesh and Blood. So I know that Ellie helped Mercy a lot. Like Mercy was very vocal about that. To shout out to both of them. What a great pair, and we definitely big parts of our community here.
As a quick segue from Ellie coaching Mercy into playing the deck to a finalist performance, Ellie is also now offering coaching services. Just something that quickly popped into my head and I just remembered. So if you want to be the next Mercy, you can hit up Ellie, and she has her rates on her social media pages, so you can ask her about that, inquire, and become the best aggro Flesh and Blood player that you could be.
I think we have one more shout out from the weekend, which is to Max Ferocity, our Rachel, very talented cosplayer, who was a guest judge for the cosplay contest at World. So, congratulations, and also even beyond congratulations, just like thank you very much to Rachel from. I didn't cosplay at Worlds, but like from the cosplay community, because sometimes it's hard to find judges for that event, especially judges that are really knowledgeable about cosplay. So the fact that like Rachel set aside her time to do that at Worlds is very special to that community.
And her ability,
she's just
also her ability to win a Taylor as well. Because
yeah,
those Taylor prizes are fairly sought after, fairly expensive prizes. So to kind of give up that opportunity to be there for the cosplay community is a pretty big deal. And her cosplay was amazing. I don't know if you had a chance.
It was
to see
incredible.
it.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely amazing seeing the kind of femme take on Viscerai, and she did a great job kind of just being there for the community. So shout outs to Max Ferocity.
Yeah, definitely deserves lots of credit for that. So those are the shout outs that we had to do this week. If we missed anything or anyone, please let us know and we apologize. But I think it's time to move on to our World's experience.
I think it is time. So Japan. What a time. Beautiful.
Japan.
You've been there before. It was my first time. How did you feel? How was it for you?
It was incredible. I have been to Japan before, but I spent like a month in Okinawa. I never actually went to mainland Japan at all. Like I didn't even have a layover there. Because last time I went, I flew from like the U.S. to Taiwan to Okinawa. So this is my first time in like mainland Japan, and got to go to Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto, and it was just incredible. And also just like, I don't know, it was so weird. Like the whole time I just kept like imagining Japan on a map and being like, I'm here right now in the world with all of my friends. Isn't that a wild thought?
Yeah. All of your friends, some of whom don't live in the same country as you.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just like, it's just so like special when there's that opportunity to do that. And also, I mean, elephant in the room, we got to meet in person for the first time. So
yeah. No, it was kind of like a mind-boggling experience, like you said, right? Like, I'm much farther away from the majority of the online Flesh and Blood community compared to you.
Yeah.
So if you go to like national level events or whatever, you get to see these people. You'll probably see them more often than I will, where it's been more than, or like roughly 2 years since I've left Oceania. So to see kind of like Rachel again for the second time, for example, or Carolina again for the third time, seeing these people I don't normally like come across in my everyday physical life, but also just seeing all the people that like I've been talking to for the last couple of years that I've never met before, like yourself, like the Summers of the world, or even just people that, yeah, I guess like there's also like even New Zealanders that I won't see very often, just over there as well. Like, you know, I come from New Zealand, I don't see James White every day. We're in different areas, but I caught up with them multiple times over in Japan, once in Tokyo, once in Osaka. But yeah, it's kind of surreal just seeing everyone that you interact with online in person.
Yeah, it was definitely like really surreal, and there was such like I don't know. I know that I like spoke about it on the pod briefly, but I was like really stressed out leading up to that trip, like very just stressed out that it was like I'm gonna get there and I'm gonna be too overwhelmed with like school stuff, that I'm not gonna be able to like actually enjoy my time in Japan with these people, and that, or like it's just gonna go by too fast, which like it always goes by too fast obviously, but genuinely I was so like, I don't think the trip, aside from just like the fact that there wasn't enough time to like do everything that I wanted to do and spend enough time with everyone that I wanted to spend time with, like that's always, I think that's always a factor at events, unfortunately, that you can't get around. But aside from that, I really do think the trip was just like perfect. Like I felt like I never stopped laughing and smiling the whole trip. Like I didn't have any, there was no drama, there was no issues. It was just like a really, really good time with people that I really care about. And I was able to, like, I worked so hard to get so ahead of school that I could actually just, like, enjoy it and not be stressed about that. And it just worked out so well.
Yeah.
It was a very, very special time.
Even if you had to wake up at 5 a.m. one day to do it. Test.
There was one day I woke up at 4 a.m. to
4
take a
a.m.
test. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I guess why were we at Worlds? You know? Like, I qualified for Worlds through Nationals unintentionally. Specifically unintentionally. I lost my winning into top 8 for Nationals. And one of the judges was like, well, you know, at least you locked up your qualification for Worlds. And I was like, excuse me? What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, top 12 in New Zealand Nationals gets to go to Worlds. So, like, that wasn't my expectation. Like, I went into Nationals thinking that I was going to go 0-3 drop and then, like, bring snacks and drinks to all my friends. I'm going to hang out, be supportive for them, because I had done, like, 3 drafts up until that point. And I had played, like, no games before that point. Very similar to my Worlds experience, now that I think about it. I just didn't expect to do well leading up into that National. So when I qualified for Worlds, it was like, oh, now I have to figure out how to get there. And yeah, I think I remember just telling you that I was going, and you're like, I'm going too. I'm going to book now or something. Something along those lines from memory. But yeah, like, what drew you to wanting to go to Worlds specifically this year? Because this was your first?
This was my first. So actually, I guess this is obviously Pitch Perfect was started by myself and Melody, and so wait, I did this for what, like almost 2 years with Melody. And so when Melody and I started doing this, obviously we wanted to meet in person as well, and we would, like, every year we'd be like, okay, if there's an event at this location that is this tier event, then we'll both do our best to go. And so at the beginning of the year, we said, if there's an event, if World is in Japan, we'll both do our best to be there. Obviously, Melody is not as active in Flesh and Blood now as she was at the time, but so I was like, I still really wanted to go to Worlds, even though I knew that, like, Melody most likely would not be trying to attend Flesh and Blood Worlds this year with everything. And so I was still going back and forth, and then you messaged and you were like, I'm going to Worlds, and I was like, okay, well then I'm going. Okay, then, like, yes, then I'm still gonna try and make it to Worlds, and I'm just gonna, like, book a flight. And then when the Microsoft crash happened and flights, like, dropped by 50%, I, like, scooped one up real quick. And then of course I had, like, my friends who were like, yeah, we're getting an Airbnb. If you are legit coming to Worlds, like, you should stay with us. And so it was just like I was like, okay, well, let me, like, think about it. Like, what's the actual cost? Oh, that's feasible. And then, you know, it started to just fall into place of, like, oh, wait, this can actually happen. So, and then then you saying you were going was like, okay, well then I'm going. Going all the way to Japan is worth it, if even just to meet Kiki. So
all the different signs were telling you that you're supposed to be there.
Yeah. It is one of those things when sometimes when I'm at these Flesh and Blood events, I'm like, I'm not qualified for this. Why am I here? Oh wait, just because I like this game and I like this space and I like these people and I can do this for myself. I think you kind of, like, touched on that in a Twitter post you made, or a Bluesky post you made after Worlds, of just, like, sometimes like when you're not playing this game on a very competitive level, there's like a sense that it's like I don't really belong at these events. Like it's not justifiable for me to travel to these events to play this game because I'm not qualified for the main event, and like I don't know, it can make you question like your place a little bit. And then once you're there and you're just like so endorsed in the game and community and friends, and even just like I want to go and meet, like I got to meet Iswardi and get an artist proof from Iswardi, and like that's almost worth it just in itself. Like there, you know, it's like I don't know, even though you can doubt yourself leading up to it, so it's so refreshing being there and realizing like no, I do have like a place in this space.
Yeah, for sure. Like as much as Flesh and Blood is my favorite competitive game, it's also still an excellent like casual game. Like there's so many different kinds of places to play this game for so many different reasons, and they're all filled with like great people and great reasons to want to play this game. So yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of space at Worlds for everyone. Especially like, I guess I didn't understand the scale of like the side events there and like how many there were going to be, and like how you can make it kind of worth your while.
Yeah.
So yeah. Sorry, I just realized I had gotten something in Japan that I should have given you one at the time, but we'll go to that later.
Okay.
At the end of Sunday, I think Sharon gave me foil etchings of Arcana, like 2 of them in Japanese though, and that would have been such a cool gift to give you.
Oh, cute. Okay.
Anyway.
I got a friendship. We got friendship bracelets.
My one is really short, so it's actually just a phone charm.
My light is like so bright. I feel like my sweater is making me like glow, but also if I turn it off, it's just gonna be dark in here. So
You're just angelic.
sorry,
it's
I'm like
fine. You're just glowing.
I'm like glowing.
Radiant.
Yeah.
Radiating.
Yeah, it's
Radiating.
like blinding. I'm radiating.
Okay. So, what was your highlights for Japan? Not even a strictly Worlds, just Japan.
I would say it's like so hard. Is it bad if I just say like the gacha machines? I got so addicted. No, I got so addicted. Like, let me just like my backpack pre-Japan had nothing on it, and I came back from Japan, and my backpack is like just
Covered.
it's just covered. And the worst part is that like I couldn't fit everything all the gacha little trinkets I got on here. So like this isn't even all of it. Oh, it's right here. I got so much stuff. This is the thing, there's like 3 things on each chain. Anyway, I got very addicted. They were so fun, and I actually think that's where most of my money went. Anyway, but like besides that, maybe a more real answer was like the night we had at the space station was so incredible. Oh, we did karaoke one night, and that was the most fun ever. First of all, it was like so cheap.
Yeah.
I was just like blown away because we karaoke'd from like 9 p.m. to like 3 a.m. and then we had unlimited drinks, and there was an ice cream bar that we had unlimited access to, and it was like $20.
Yeah.
And I sang so much. That was so much fun. It was like Chris, Frank Mobogsley, Dagan White, Peter Budensick, and Vishra Barrett, and Casanova. And Cass and I just like sang like 2000s eras like alternative rock.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. We did Bring Me to Life, and we crushed it, if I say so myself. We crushed it. I shocked myself with that one, honestly. That was like that was my last night in Japan, and it was like the perfect last night. Like I don't think I could have asked for it better. I just had so much fun.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
I also did a karaoke. I was also there for the space station night, and that was fantastic. A beautiful time. Nobody can touch me in Tekken in regards to that small group of people that were there. By small group, I mean we were literally like 3/4 of the bar.
I don't think there was anyone else in the bar.
There was people not in our group there at some point, especially before you got there. Like, we were only half the group at the time.
Okay.
But I'll touch back on that later. But yeah, I also was part of a karaoke group with mainly New Zealanders and Xavier, the Japanese national champion. And I think there was also an Australian player there, I think. And my partner, who doesn't play Flesh and Blood, she was also there. We did the same thing. We didn't go for 6 hours. We were only there for like 3, because, you know, we're all old. But we also did the unlimited drinks thing. I think between the 8 of us, we had over 100, maybe, or so. We kept on ordering them in 12s, and just kept on ordering 12 drinks at a time. It was ridiculous. Yeah, and I was also doing the kind of mid-2000s kind of alternative rock vibe, or I don't know, you know.
It's like the
I was
best karaoke.
very much either like doing the Chester Bennington part of Linkin Park, or the Mike Shinoda part of Linkin Park, or occasionally the Jay-Z part of the Linkin Park. But either way, there was a lot of the Linkin Park going on. And yeah, no, it was a great time. I love karaoke. I do it quite often. But what are my highlights? Like, see, if you're going to say that the gachas were your highlights, my highlights were like the bathrooms. Like the toilets are amazing. You just feel so clean afterwards. It's like the best.
Also, like, anytime I went into a public restroom that was like a really like in a mall or in the airport or in just like a big shopping center or one of those like 7-story buildings that's just like an entertainment, like anywhere that was like not like a restaurant but just like a big public space, the bathrooms, I've never been in women's bathrooms that nice, and I don't know about the other bathrooms, but the bathrooms, they all had like a dressing room and like vanity makeup stations with like chairs and outlets and like backlit mirrors, and I just go in there and just like, I'm just gonna play with my makeup because I can. This is so fun. Like, it was like, this is just the best experience. Also, it's not TMI. I just really want to know, like, how much electricity is spent heating the toilet seats, because every toilet seat was like heated. You sit down, it's like, this toilet seat is very, like, it's heated.
Yeah, and it's not like warm and the somebody's just sat here kind of warm. It is hot.
It's hot. It's like heat. It feels like, yeah, like a heated car seat. Like, it's heated. But like,
waking up and just like going, I need to use the restroom, and then just sitting on it, it's so comfortable, it's comforting.
Yeah,
it's like
a like,
little warm hug for your legs. Like,
no one wants to sit on a cold toilet, and I never like knew there was a better way to do it until I went to Japan. Like, these seats are nice and warm, and like, yeah,
I've never felt so loved by a ceramic bowl before, you know.
Right, yeah, it's like a hug from the toilet. It's so nice.
So, like, legitimately, that was one of my favorite things about Japan, is the toilet situation, which applies like 90% of toilets. I did go to some that weren't heated and didn't have like a self-cleaning kind of thing, and I was like, this is so wrong. It feels backwards.
I don't know if I like, truly, I don't know if I ran into any.
They were more around like
weren't.
They're more like the outdoor public toilets, like ones that are like at parks or things.
Oh, I think
like
at the space station.
Oh, I didn't use those ones. Did they not have it?
Maybe it was a normal. I was pretty drunk, to be honest, but I don't remember having like a great bathroom experience there.
There was no hug. There was no hug from the toilet.
I don't remember being hugged, but it was also like pretty
That's my childhood.
I don't remember.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Can we like incorporate toilets into the title of this episode?
Oh, for sure, somehow.
Somehow, yeah.
I love how it just seems like such a small thing, but like to like every non-Japanese person I've talked to you about the toilets, like, oh my god, they're the best things ever.
Yeah, like when I landed, my friends and I were all like, "Oh, we're all home from Japan. Boo, boring." I was like, "I'm gonna miss a lot about Japan, but the toilets the most. Like the toilets. I think I'm gonna miss the toilets more than I'm gonna miss you guys, just because I know I'm gonna see you again. Like, not you, my friends I see often.
How's that? Do I write about?
I'll
the
miss
toilet?
you more than
Okay.
Yeah. You write about the toilet.
Okay. Yeah. If this was any other
You
country's
right about
toilets,
it.
this would be an insult almost. But like for
It would
Japan,
be-
this is an honor.
Right? Yeah, to be above the toilets in Japan. That's a very high place in my heart, Kiki. Understand that.
I deeply appreciate it. I feel like someone wants your attention.
Yeah. I know. It's fine.
But yeah, Space Station, real quick, was a fantastic time. There was both of us there. We had, who else? We had Az there, obviously. Az is a ridiculous character.
Oh, was this
my
your first
life.
time with Az in person?
No, I met him at the First Worlds as well. But this is the first time we hung out outside of a flesh and blood context. But like, I had an idea of what he was going to be like, but just he kind of met and exceeded those expectations when I found out the next day he had just passed out on the street. I'm kind of like,
Yeah. Az.
and then he went biking.
And then he went biking. I like really was heavily debating going on that biking trip that Az organized, but it just I felt like it was a better use of my time to just take the train to Kyoto. But when all that happened, I heard about it and I saw Az's tweet. I was like, I was with Az the night prior as you were, and I was like, that Az is such a madman in like the best way possible. Like I love Az so much, and Az is like, there's no way to like just really describe Az to someone. Like Az is an experience in himself. And I was like, I wonder if Az is still gonna go biking. And then sure enough, I see it on I see it on Twitter, on Bluesky, or whatever, like the biking vlog and video, and I'm like, what a madman as a compliment. Like, what a beast. Because he's built different.
He's absolutely 100% built different.
He's just built different. I couldn't do it. He's just built different.
100%. But super lovely guy. Super lovely to see him again. Along with, your whole group that you brought with you. Like, it was the first time meeting a bunch of them for me. Rachel and Phil, her partner, were also there. It was lovely to hang out with them and like, well, I've never met her partner before. But really lovely to kind of have a nice chill vibe with them. Summer brought her friends along as well, or a friend. There was a pretty like fairly international group of people. We had Ian from Ireland coming there as well. He's wild.
He's a good time. Yeah, it's
He's a
fun.
great time. I like didn't know who he was until like a few months ago.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that was my first time meeting Ian. I was really happy that Summer and Rachel were there too, because I didn't get to like spend time with them at the venue, and so I was happy that there was like a setting where we could all just kind of like have fun.
I like that
spend
we
a little bit more time.
turned this small video game bar into a karaoke room in itself. Like,
It was, we were all just like singing, having a great time. There was a lot of people there. There was Darkodius was there too. That was my first time meeting Darkodius in person and hanging out.
I thought he was in your group, because that was also my first time meeting him.
No, he wasn't in my group. I just brought Dagan and Frank. That was my first time meeting Darkodius. Maybe I should apologize, because I just was like I said, a little intoxicated, and I was like sitting there. I was like, has anyone ever told you you look like the one Slayer from the Lorax? He's like, no. What are you talking about? And I was like, I just like had a picture of the one Slayer. I kept pulling up, being like, doesn't this look like Darkodius?
I remember that now.
I have a very special talent of like making obscure obscure like cartoon characters and connecting them with people. I do have a reputation of doing that, so I don't mean it in a bad way at all. The Onceler, like, well, actually, well, that isn't the Onceler. I'm sorry. Isn't the Onceler the one who like kills all the trees?
Honestly, I couldn't tell.
Anyway, I think the Onceler kills all the trees. I was gonna say like I love the Onceler, he speaks for the trees, but that's definitely the Lorax. I think the Onceler is the one that kills the trees, but I didn't mean like I didn't I didn't mean to put that image on Darkodius.
It was just physically the resemblance was there. No other statement about Darkodius' character whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like.
Also, like we've probably gone on about this one specific place too long, but the bartender there was super adorable. Like,
Which one?
The Italian guy, I think.
I thought he was Australian.
No, he definitely wasn't Australian. Either way, so setting the scene, it's a tiny bar, very tiny bar. It's got like standing space for like 5 people maybe. There's a whole bunch of video game setups from various different eras, mainly more retro themed. And then there was 2 bartenders there. There was a lady, and then the guy that I thought was Italian and Elaine thought was Australian. He's a bit shorter than me, and he was very excitable. Like, when I got there, he was just like, oh, you can like sit at any sort of like machine you want, you can play some games, we can help you pick if you want. And normally like the space is more empty, but there's a lot of people here at the moment. But we have music. If you feel like dancing, you can dance here. I'm just like, this guy has never had this many customers in his life. And he's so excited about it.
Yeah, I got that vibe too. He was just like very excited, and like it really brought me back to my bartending days when you have like a busy night, but you're like hyped on the crowd, not annoyed with the crowd.
Yeah.
Because I walked in and he was like, hey, is it your first time here? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, here's all my games, play any of them, can I get you a drink? And I'm like, okay, hi. Do you work here, or like, it was like, he was very cool.
It just kind of made me forget that we were in Japan for a moment, right? Like,
it did make me forget we were in Japan, yeah.
Which is weird, because Japan is the reason why all these different people from these different areas have come together. But there wasn't a Japanese person in there, and for a moment I'm like, huh, we're in Japan, but I'm in a bar where everything's in English currently, and there's no Japanese people here, and yeah, it was just kind of confusing. And then as soon as I stepped out and ordered an Uber, this black sort of like old school taxi comes along, and I'm like, that's right, we're in Japan.
We're in Japan, obviously, yeah. Because the trains don't run past midnight, which was a little annoying, but I understand.
Yeah, for sure.
I was definitely out past midnight every night.
Yeah. There was one time we managed to get a train after midnight. There was like specifically like one line. I think it was the last one left. Maybe, but yeah. But you know, we were in Japan for a reason, and the reason being Flesh and Blood, the trading card game. So we.
How was I like? What? Why were we in Japan? What was the reason? Oh, right.
Remember how we're doing a Flesh and Blood trading card game podcast?
Yeah, that's a podcast that we have right now. Yeah.
Yeah. The toilets. We're actually in Japan for the toilets. No, so we were there for Worlds, and we did actually play some games of Flesh and Blood. So I was in the Worlds portion of it, like I mentioned earlier. Yeah, and somehow I made it to a 4-4 record, not quite getting enough today too, but a lot better than I was kind of expecting based on the fact that I picked up Florian about 2 weeks before the event. Florian not being the correct choice, but being the fun choice for Worlds. Yeah, it went 4-4 on the first day. And then came the second day, which was the Saturday, and that's when we both played an event.
We kind of had something funny happen
Yeah.
at that event too. Yeah.
Why don't you go and tell the viewers about our experience?
We had the exact same record at the end of the day, but not only did we have the exact same record, we won and lost the exact same rounds. And so it was like after every round when we'd meet back up with each other and be like, how'd your round go? And it's like, oh, you won, I also won. You lost, I also lost. And every time we'd be like, we're about to get paired into each other. We never actually got paired into each other.
Not officially.
Not officially. So what did we do? We went 2-3 and then we both dropped, right? That's what happened?
Yeah, we dropped after the third loss. Because I think we went 2 losses, 2 wins, a loss in that order. From memory.
Yes. 2 losses. Yes, that's right. Yeah, 2 losses. Because I was on Kasai, obviously. And I played 2 Zins, round 1 and 2, and I lost to both of them. And then I played a Viserai and won. And then I played a Dash IO and won. And then I got like beat to hell by an Enigma. Yeah, who just was like turn 1 like mirror guy for 14 every turn. And I was like, oh, I can't do anything about this.
No, mirror guy's kind of correct. Yeah. I lost my first round to a Viserai, which is kind of expected. Florian has like an absurdly bad rate into it on Talishar, something like 96% favored to Viserai. Like, this isn't an exaggeration, just literally unwinnable. And I think I came pretty close to winning that game. I might have made like a mistake somewhere that cost me, I think. Or I took the wrong gamble. I don't think it was a mistake, I just took the wrong gamble and it didn't pay off. But yeah, I can't remember the second round. The third round I made an Azalea player very sad. Just because I'd never left them with an arsenal through Command and Conquers and Plow Unders, and they just... Whoops. Oh god.
Oops.
And I don't remember the 4th game, and then the 5th game I lost to a Dash IO that didn't high octane combo me, and that was kind of cool. I enjoyed it. So even though I lost, like, the games were all pretty fun. There was an Aurora I beat. That's who it was in round 4. She was lovely though. She had been playing for a couple of years.
I remember. I watched this game.
Yeah. And there was points I thought I was going to lose, and then I managed to claw it back somehow, I think. I don't know. But overall, the games were pretty fun that weekend. Yeah, especially games I played after, like, once all the tournament stuff had done, like, the games I played after the tournaments were pretty fun. Just a couple casuals and stuff.
Yeah. Well, speaking of games played after the tournament, so after we went 2-3 drop, we kept talking about how we were going to get paired into each other, and we never did. And so then we both dropped and paired into each other all by ourselves.
I was gonna say, we may or may not have had tiny microphones with us.
Yes, we had brought tiny microphones with the intention to film a blog, which really, we have like one clip. We have like the intro clip.
Yeah.
We have the intro clip. Yeah, we have the intro clip. And then we had like so many ideas to do, and we did a really fun thing where we did a bunch of interviews, but we didn't record any of them actually. That's actually not a joke.
Yeah.
We just walked around with the mics and like had interviews and conversations with people, but we just did it as a bit to make to see how people would react if they thought we were recording to them.
Yeah.
But we weren't recording them.
This was mainly an Elaine thing, because a lot of this happened
Well-
while I was still playing in Worlds. And I'd come back and I'd find her having a conversation with someone, and she'd be holding a microphone as she would speak, and then she would pass it along to the other person as they would speak. Like this, exactly. And, like, at some point, I walked over to one of these conversations. I noticed the guy's posture just suddenly, like, kind of go up. And suddenly he was enunciating more clearly, and he was using kind of words you wouldn't use necessarily in, like, a casual conversation. So I did my part, and I just picked up my phone. I didn't record anything. I just picked up my phone and aimed at his general direction.
Yeah, I walked around like the entire Friday. I had the mic and I was just doing exactly what I'm doing right now, which for our audio listeners, I'm just holding the mic up to my mouth as if I'm recording something. And then I would say whatever I had to say for the conversation. And when it was their turn to speak, I just, put the mic like to them. And I was just kind of curious what this is like to have as a, like, what if this was just a personality trait of mine where I just constantly had a mini mic, but nothing was ever being recorded. Nice. So then, yeah, I'd be like, I'm not recording right now. I'm just testing this out as like a personality trait.
This became so part of Elaine's personality that she fucking had them in her hair as hair clips at one point. Just one on each side. I was like, oh, what are you up to?
It was really fun. I really enjoyed holding this little mic. I don't know. It was fun, but anyway. So nothing really got recorded with the little mics, but I did have a lot of fun with them. And
one thing got recorded.
I'm such a troll sometimes. 2 things got recorded. Yeah. The intro to the vlog that didn't get recorded got recorded, and
that seemed like the great shortest content. Like we're like making a YouTube Shorts video of just an intro, and then that's it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the intro is just like me, like, how are you doing at Worlds? And you're like, I've lost, but it was against like bad matchups, and I was like, so everything's going perfectly according to plan then. If you're losing matchups, you're supposed to lose. And anyway, yeah. I think that's like the intro video. The other thing that we actually did record was a game. We played a little game against each other. So
it was also the first time we played a game. Not just this weekend wasn't the first time we met. It was the first time we've played a game.
Is it really? We've never played on Talishar or webcam or anything? That's so interesting.
We don't have time to play games. We're too busy trying to create social media things for the league.
That's true.
And being in different time zones.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go. So, I'll edit that eventually and post it.
Yeah. You can witness a piece of history, which is the very first in-person Pitch Perfect game. Because I don't believe you and Melody ever played in person.
No, we never played in person. We did play quite a bit on like Talishar and stuff, but never in person. We've never met in person, so.
And I've only played against her back when I wasn't a part of this channel, so.
Very good point. It is a historic event, I guess. We made history.
Pitch Perfect co-hosts have played together in person for the very first time.
First time. It's coming out in the news, actually.
Yeah.
I think. All right. Maybe we should move on. We do have quite a bit of listener questions.
Okay. So the first listener question was actually in our initial kind of World's Experience section, but I figured I'd cut it out because Deb wants to know, how was it meeting each other for the very first time? This is Deb at bobblewaffle.bsky.social. She does a whole bunch of the armory drawing things, and you should definitely give her at least check out her page, if not a follow, just to make yourself smile with her adorable art. But yes, she asks, how was meeting each other for the first time?
So, I don't want to say weird. It was surreal. It was just like so like I got to the venue all like frazzled from being like scammed in a taxi, and and I was like, oh, like I don't know, we were like in the venue for it was the keynote speech, and you had like front row seats or something crazy.
Technically. I was in a spot that I technically shouldn't have been in, but nobody stopped me from being there, so I just stayed there until somebody, like, in theory called me out. And then, like, the 3 floating guys also came to this area, and so did Kasharn, and I'm just like, well, now it feels like this is an actual spot, because there's official, like, LSS-affiliated people around me. But I'm still waiting for someone to pick me up. Anyway, I was where I wasn't should be, but I was near the front. Keynotes.
You were like near the front. I was like so far away I couldn't like really even see the keynote screen. I was like watching. Someone was videoing the keynote and I was like watching it on their phone. They were like in front of me. That's how far I was. And anyway, you were like texting. You're like, I'm at the front. I come to the front. I was like, I can't come to the front. This crowd is so dense. And you're like, well, just push your way through, like, you know, you're a New Yorker. And I was like, okay, but I also have like, I had my luggage with me, so I had to just wait. And once the keynote ended, before I left the venue, I just like ran over and was like, Kiki. It was just like, it was so surreal. I don't know. It was I don't know, I felt like it was a lot more like, we weren't emotional, obviously, but there was like a rush of emotions. Like suddenly I felt like maybe I would cry, but I didn't cry. But
yeah,
you know,
from my perspective, it felt movie-esque almost, which sounds real cheesy. My memory is like things go in and then leave immediately kind of thing. So as soon as the keynote's finished, I kind of just went and sat down because there was like something afterwards, I think.
Yeah, there was a Q&A afterwards.
There was a Q&A afterwards, right?
Yeah.
So a bunch of people left. I'm like, oh, there are seats. And my partner Lauren's like, let's sit down. So we sat down. And at that point, I just completely forgotten that Elaine was there. So I'm just like kind of sitting in the seat.
Wow.
Huh? I'm not like that.
I said, wow.
Like I said, like I just zoned out. It might have been from tiredness or whatever, but I remember just like not thinking too much, but kind of sitting down. My head was kind of down. I might have been looking at my phone or something. And Lauren's like just next to me. She's like, "Is that Elaine?" And I look up, and there you are. Like you have like the biggest smile on your face. I'm just like, oh.
I think, yeah, I do remember it was Lauren that like noticed me first. I was like running over with my luggage, and I just remember Lauren, Kiki, it's Elaine. Like, hey.
Yeah. I was quite mentally checked out at that point, so that's what I mean by it kind of felt like a movie. It feels like, you know, yeah. Though it kind of felt surreal in the fact that we've been hanging out for like the last year and a half, 2 years now, online in these sort of spaces, mainly through messages, more so now recording and stuff after doing commentary and now this podcast together. So like I've seen you a bunch, but to see you physically in front of me is just like a experience I have not had before, basically. Yeah, so it kind of felt angelic almost, especially because I was on a seat looking up at you. And the bright lights of the Intex Arena, whatever it's called, wherever we were, like just kind of shining down. I'm like, oh.
Wow.
And then somehow we managed to take a really cute selfie.
Yeah, we did take a really cute selfie.
Despite the fact that you had just literally flown in from like into the country that day, and I had unintentionally got an hour and a half by train out of Osaka and back that day because we didn't realize how far away Himeji Castle was.
Yeah, I'd been awake for 30 hours at that point. I was like,
you were looking so poised for 30 hours of awakeness.
Wow, thank you. I did not feel it.
Maybe this leads to the surrealness of it. We're both just like on fumes.
Oh yeah, we were both just like out of it. Yeah,
Mm.
maybe so. Maybe so. Anyway, it was pretty incredible, I'd say. Yeah, very surreal. Yeah.
Very happy it happened.
All right. So our next question comes from Draconic Ash. Draconic Ash dot BS. What do you say?
B-Sky.
B-Sky.
Like blue sky, B-Sky.
Oh, B-Sky.
Yes.
Dot social. For some reason, every time it's never clicked in my head that it's like B-Sky. I've always been like Bluesky.
That's why, just as a quick aside, I made a skate the other day about. I made a Blue Sky post the other day about whether it's pronounced, like, for the Flesh and Blood community, is it FAB Sky or FAB Sky? Because B Sky exists as a thing already. But. And I'm just curious.
It never clicked to me that it was B-Sky until this moment.
Yeah, so for you, it would have, if you ever saw that post, that skate, it would have been very confusing.
Yeah, I would have been like, what are you talking about?
Anyway, yeah, so.
Anyway, draconicash.bsky.social so asks, how was the food and how badly do you miss it? How badly do you now miss it? So, the food was delicious, but also an obstacle for both of us. Yeah.
Yeah, so we both have a variety of things we can't eat for one reason or another. And one of the things about Japan is that they are less strict about what you need to put on the ingredients list than a country like New Zealand is. I don't know about the States, but New Zealand is very strict. You have to list literally everything. And one of the things I did when researching is find out that there is fish in almost everything, which is fine if you love eating fish and you love the taste of fish, and not fine if you are a vegan. Do your allergies include fish as well?
No, my allergies are like meat, so I'm allergic to mammals. Who's allergic to mammals? Anyway, I'm allergic to mammals. Yeah, and like obviously I can see that this is fish and like this is chicken. But it was just like kind of really difficult because everything had like so much had pork in it, and even if it didn't have pork, it was like made with like pork broth or like it just like had like some sort of pork, even if pork wasn't the meat. And so it was just like very difficult, and like most of the time when I went to a restaurant, it was like there's one thing I can eat, like there's one menu item I can eat, and sometimes it was like that's a side of vegetables and a side of rice. But yeah, I remember like we went to get ramen, and I was like trying to figure out if the ramen was like pork based. And another problem is, you know, like you said with the ingredients, like the translated menus, because I can't read Japanese. The translated menus, it was like they gave me a translated menu, and it was like happiness ramen with egg, double happiness ramen, and double happiness ramen with egg. And I'm like, what kind of could you tell me what kind of like broth is in here?
Happiness.
What kind of meat is in here?
Joy.
And it was just like trying to like overcome the language barrier with like Google Translate and stuff. Was just like, even if I could like ask questions and they would like could nod yes or no, it was still like I just don't know if like I don't know if I'm coming, like I don't know if I trust what Google Translate is telling you, that I'm saying enough to consume this food, like take the risk of death to eat this food. Like, so I'm just gonna like order something I know that I can eat. That I did have seafood, because it did say that the broth was like seafood broth, so I ended up getting like a seafood ramen, and that was fine. But it was just that's just like an example. It's like the translation on the menus, I was like, these aren't, it's not, these are adjectives, not food. Like
What flavor is your broth? Happiness. with egg.
Happiness. Okay, I'm sure it's delicious. I just don't know if I'll die or not, so it's not gonna make me very happy.
If you did die, at least you would die happy. You know,
Yeah.
at least
I
the
ate
broth.
I ate like a lot of Family Mart.
Mm-hmm.
I ate a lot of Family Mart because I just like every morning our Airbnb was on the side of a Family Mart, so every morning I just like go get a Family Mart haul, which I got like a lot of like baked goods because I know that was safe. So you know, like the little like pastry stuffed with like red bean paste, those were delicious. Also at Family Mart I would just get like a few Fammy chickies, and that was great. But yeah.
For those that don't know, it's like a chicken schnitzel kind of thing, right? Like a
Yeah, it's just like a little, it's like a strip of fried chicken.
Oh yeah, there you
Yeah. It's like a fried chicken like patty. Yeah.
My experience was similar, but instead of like anything remotely sounding like it could have been a different food, I just ate hash browns basically every day. I would go to a Family Mart, I'd go to a 7-Eleven, I would get hash browns. Because everything I looked up, they're like, the hash browns are vegan, the hash browns are vegan, the hash browns are vegan. So that was my breakfast for like, I want to say 2/3 of my days was just literally hash browns. My food experience was pretty rough as well. Mainly because of the different things that you can't see in the ingredients list, but I kind of knew from looking up online. They don't use gelatin in their jelly, so one day at Worlds my lunch was a cup of jelly with little mandarin slices, orange slices, something in it, and a bag of crisps. And I felt like I was a 5-year-old at school. It was kind of wholesome, but not very filling.
That's cute.
Yeah. Eventually I did find some restaurants though, like that were specifically vegan. And you'd see a lot of tourists there, mainly because I feel like it was aimed more at tourists, so they existed. But I definitely found a lot of like vegan. My partner found a vegan takoyaki place and a vegan okonomiyaki place, which was kind of cool to have like a Japanese food experience, even if not quite traditional. Just kind of have that. And then there was this one place that had amazing vegan gyoza, entirely vegan. And each one was a different color and a different flavor, so they gave you like a guide as to what they were and stuff. And like, yeah, those gay dumplings were probably my favorite thing that I ate.
That was like so the thing is like finding food to eat was like really scary and stressful in some ways, but once I found food that I could eat, like it was like really delicious. I got like the souffle like jiggly pancakes one day. That was like incredible. Yeah. So yummy. We did kind of like I'm forgetting what it's called though. You know, when there's like the grills at the table and you like cook your own food. Yes. We did that, and like that was real easy because I could just get like shrimp and like chicken and veggies, and like I know it's safe because I'm the one cooking it. Yeah. And that was really good. We went to like a fried food place. I got like fried grapes.
Huh?
Delicious. Yeah, I had actually already eaten because I went out for sushi, which also like sushi was safe and good. Really had some of the best sushi I've ever had in my life. Actually, I take that back, had the best sushi I've ever had in my life there. And then we went to like it was just like a restaurant that just like, it was like a little bar, and you sit at the bar, and it was just like only like 10 people could fit in there at once because it was just one bar with a chef, like a sushi restaurant with a sushi chef, but except it was just this guy frying whatever you want him to fry. And I wasn't hungry because I had just come from the sushi place and my friends didn't get dinner, so I went to dinner with them as well, just to go hang out and not be alone at the Airbnb. But yeah, grapes was an option, so I was like, I'd like to try that. Fried grapes, please. They were good. It was weird, but they were good.
Beautiful. Yeah. I've heard of fried chocolates. Fried grapes is not the thing that I would have ever considered. Also, fruits.
Fried grapes. They came with raspberry sauce on top.
Okay.
Like a drizzled raspberry sauce. It was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want that now. Suddenly
It
you
was
just
really
you
good.
introduce berries into it, and now I'm like, yes, I'm about that.
Yeah.
I see
now
how this is good.
I'm on board. Well, I was like fried grapes, weird, but like give me an order of fried grapes. And then when he served them with the red stuff, I was like, what is that? That better not be like ketchup because I can't eat tomatoes either. But no, it wasn't. It was he said like raspberry, and I was like, oh, I'm in. And it was good. Yeah.
Okay. There you go. If you ever go to
Yeah.
Japan, fried grapes with raspberry sauce. Make sure it's not ketchup.
All right. Well, we should probably move on to the next question because we do have quite a few. So the space station, the bar we talked quite extensively about earlier. Ian, who we also mentioned, Ian Holland at fiendelspirit.bsky.social said, "What was the best drink in Space Station? How much do you love the Irish FAB players? And seriously, what was your favorite memory of FAB Osaka?" So I'm just gonna go ahead and say, what was the best drink at the space station? I really don't know how you expect me to remember what I drank at the space station because that was a bit of a blur. And I ordered something new every time.
Yeah.
So it was inconsistent. What was the worst drink at the space station is when I started ordering Jaeger shots. I don't know why I did that. But I will say I do remember, and it might have been called the space station, but there was one drink that Az and I got because I was like Az and I were getting a drink, and there was a drink on the menu that said every drink had the description, and that particular drink said that each employee had their own recipe for it.
Oh.
So it might have been called the space station. I don't know, but Az and I ordered two of them, like together. We didn't each get two. We each got one. And the guy who I don't know if he's the owner or the manager or just a worker, the very excitable
Or if he's
guy.
Italian or
He was
Australian.
like, yeah, I don't know. He was really nice, though. That's all I know. He was like, what recipe do you want? And so since there was two employees there, we had them each make one, and then Az and I both tried them, and then we took the one we liked best. But that was cool that they had. I thought that was a cool concept for a drink.
Yeah, that's like the bartender's choice kind of drink almost, right? You're just like, make whatever you want. This is what I want to make.
Yeah.
My criteria for ordering drinks, a lot of the time, is it blue? And they had at least 3, if not more, drinks that had blue curacao as one of the ingredients. So the one that I remember the name of was the Chun-Li, which makes sense, as being that she's a lady in blue.
I think I had that one, yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you which drink I liked the most. I remember one of them was blue curacao something and Mountain Dew. And there was another one that was blue curacao something and soda water or something a bit more generic than Mountain Dew. And they had a shot called the Pikachu, which was red and yellow. And I don't remember what was in it, but the name was kind of adorable and it tasted like bananas, which was probably the yellow part of that. But yeah, so the Chun-Li was the one that sticks out to me as being a blue drink that I can remember the name of. The Irish FAB players, how much do you love them? Did you get to hang out with many of them?
I got to hang out with Ian and Connor. Was it Connor?
I think so. I'm really bad with names.
Yeah. The two at the bar.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever that. They were hilarious. I don't think I honestly around them. I think I was like laughing too much to even speak because they were just jokes back and forth. It was fantastic, and I hope that I get to see them again at the event.
So, I'm really sorry if your name isn't Connor, but I feel like that's what it was. The non-Ian one.
I'm pretty sure it's Connor.
I met him at the venue, funnily enough, waiting in line for a signature, and he was playing an event and he was lined up, and he just taps me on the shoulder. He's behind me in the line. He's like, "Hi, are you Kiki?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Hi, nice to meet you." And he was like, "Oh, I'm a friend of Summer's. I've got a round to play, but I really want to get these cards signed. Is there any way you can get them signed for me and bring them back to me? I'm like, yeah, okay. We like have like this little discussion about how we work out the logistics. He doesn't tell me his name whilst doing so, but he tells me roughly what table he's sitting at. He's like, oh, I'm like at table 770 something. I'm like, okay. So I'm just like getting this guy's card signed for him. No idea who he is, other than that he sounds Irish, and he's a friend of Summer. And then I'm like, okay. So now I'm just walking around trying to find this guy whose name I don't know. So I gotta be like, hey, have you seen this guy on table 770 something? Thankfully, he was like the only person sitting there in like a light blue colored shirt, I think it was. So I was able to pick him up based on the color of his shirt. And then I just like walked up and like, hi, did you get cards signed? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna trust that you're not lying to me. Here you go. These are yours. Here are 3 heroes in various high rarities that are now have singers on them. But yes, I wouldn't say I was surprised, but I was kind of surprised to see him later that evening. I'm like, oh, I met you earlier, and I didn't actually get your name. He and I... So I was sitting with him and Ian playing video games at one point, and... Oh, what happened? He was better at one of them than Ian, and Ian was like, you can play. I'm like, I don't know how to play this game. And I got stomped, and like... He was, you know, he's just like pretty happy about it. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to bully you now. So I switched the game to Tekken and then proceeded to. It wasn't close. It was so bad to the point where after like the first like set of games, it's like, we can switch back to the other game now. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like stomp that hard.
I remember it was like those little colorful guys he kept throwing you off the building.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember watching y'all play this game, yes.
It was kind of adorable. And I kind of would like to learn how to play the game, but he was just telling me to press different buttons, and I feel like none of them did what he was saying they did. And he was like, it's easy, you just do this, and he'd pick me up and throw me off the building. I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so those guys were lovely. And then the next day I also had a picnic that involved, and Ian came with another one of his roommates. I can't remember his name either, some bad names. And then Ian, my partner, and his friend and myself all went up to Osaka Castle and had a great time. So the Irish FAB players, fantastic. I'm bad with your names, I'm sorry, but you're all lovely people.
Yeah. Favorite memory, I think we already kind of touched on that in the highlights. Right?
Yeah.
Favorite memory, yeah.
Yeah, toilets.
All right. We have a few more questions from Deb. The first one is there something new you learned about each other as well as the community during the trip? If not, what's something that you already knew that was reinforced?
In terms of reinforcing, you are as hilarious, if not more than I expected in person. You're such a good vibe, such a good time. I appreciate hanging out with you for basically the whole of the Saturday.
I think I'm just like a massive troll. Like, I don't know. I don't think
You are. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not sure if people like realize how much of just a troll that I am. Like the mic thing. Like I don't know.
I was just cracking up from afar every time I saw you just doing that to someone. I'm like, they don't know. That person,
like all day.
That person thinks they're being interviewed right now, and Elaine's just standing there mindlessly with like this microphone going back and forth. But again, it's the posture change when they first realize there's a microphone in front of them. They're like, oh,
like that was the funny part. Like,
yeah.
Anyway, harmless fun. I'm trying to think if there's like something new. I feel like there is. I feel like there was something that happened that I was like, I'm learning new things about you, but I don't remember what it was.
Was it that I actually play Flesh and Blood?
No, I already knew that.
I don't just talk about it.
It is kind of like, I will say, like, it's just kind of not surprising at all, but like it just like being in person with you didn't really feel much different than like being just like this with you. Yeah. I don't know, like I don't think that's surprising, because when we do this it's just us hanging out, but I don't know, you get like nervous, like, oh gosh, what if, you know.
I guess it was good that like our hanging out kind of just felt normal. As surreal as the first meeting was, like spending time with you felt like, oh yeah, like this is just something we do. We just hang out with each other.
Yeah.
So the next step question, maybe, or can you remember what you were thinking about?
No, I can't. I'll say you're like just as like cool and stylish and in person as here. You have such a cool style. It like the oversized sweatshirt, and you were just like, what were you saying? You were like, oh, I'm being so lewd with like my shoulder.
Oh, that's because like on the Thursday, the picture that we took, I have a basketball jersey on, and then like this kind of loose light green cardigan thing going on. And even though it's winter in Osaka, we're getting into winter, it's still hotter than my summer. So I was like sweating, and I like had my jacket off my shoulders, and I was walking around with like my shoulders visible, which doesn't sound like a big deal, whatever. But in like the 3 hours that I was in Himeji and Himeji Castle, because the 3 hours I was there, anyway, nobody had their shoulders uncovered, and I'm just like, I'm such a harlot, I think was the word I used. Because I have my I have my shoulders exposed, and literally no one else does. But yeah, also that reminds me, I need to pay you back for the World's hoodie still.
Oh yeah, I'll send you my PayPal. Yeah. Okay, next step question though. The best swag you brought back from Japan, fab or non-fab related. I already showed you like all pretty much the swag that I brought back for myself. But I will say that I went to Japan, I was like, I'm not gonna buy any souvenirs, and I ended up buying a second suitcase and just going shopping by myself for clothes, because the clothes were just so cute, and I love cute clothes. I just love being cute. Sue me, I guess. But but even beyond that, like I bought they had like the Stir the Pot shirt, and I bought that, and I think that might be one of my favorite purchases.
That's a very cute
I loved
shirt.
it. Also, yeah, LSS finally made a hoodie that wasn't a zip-up hoodie. It was like the Osaka specific one, not just like an LSS generic one, but I was really happy about that, so I bought one. It's super soft.
Yeah, and a cute peach color.
Yeah.
So I got the the Flesh and Blood Worlds anime hoodie, which was a zip-up hoodie, which is the opposite of me, because all my hoodies are pullovers as opposed to zip-ups. And I really wanted a zip-up hoodie so I could have it open wider and continue to show off my shoulders to people. I have this tattoo, which like nobody can read the whole thing ever, and I just like, what if I want people to see it every now and then? But there it is. But yeah, so like that was really cute, and like that was I got it like 2 sizes too big because I like being drowned in clothing. And I remember I put it on.
It was cute though.
Yeah, you're like, wait, hold on, there's something about this cozy vibe with like the torn knees on the jeans and this oversized hoodie. I'm just like, yeah, I just kind of feel like I'm melting. But I guess my favorite kind of souvenir I got. So with World's entry, you are given one of the 3 anime cards, being Dorinthia, Viserai, or Nu. And I had a friend who wanted the Nu. And I opened the Viserai, so like if I find somebody who has the Viserai or the Nu for trade and they want it, then I'll just do that and I'll get it for you, it's fine. So eventually somebody did just randomly shout out, he was like, hey, does anybody want the Nu? I want a Viserai. I'm like, yeah, easy, done, sorted. So I did the trade, and I look at the new alternate art, the Japanese art one, and I'm just like, oh shit, this is stunning. And I immediately messaged my friend. I'm just like, girl, I'm going to find you a different new because I want to keep this one. So I ended up sourcing her another one. It's fine. But then I found out the artist was there. So I ended up buying the playmat for it, and I've got the playmat and the new now signed in her gorgeous artwork. And that's kind of just like my favorite, whatchamacallit?
Yeah.
Swag.
I picked up the
Souvenir.
Dorinthia.
Yeah.
But the new was so pretty. I had a friend who got the new signed with like in like hot pink with the gold shadow, I think it was. Stunning, so pretty.
Yeah.
So pretty.
I got
so gorgeous.
my one in blue and purple to kind of match the color vibes of the card.
Yes, so pretty. Okay, the next question comes from the armed pit .bsky.social. Okay, the question is, how are you so cool? Which I'll direct that towards you because we've established I'm not cool. I'm just a troll.
I do about 3 hours of just self-reflection in the mirror mainly each day. Yeah. And then I will often just like intimidate people in the street afterwards. Just walk up to them and just stare directly into their eyes until they flinch. And then, yeah. No, none of that is true.
The intimidation thing reminded me of like, I eat lemons whole.
Oh god.
You know? And like, I have used it as an intimidation factor before. Like, if there's someone that I want to intimidate, making direct eye contact with a person and taking a bite out of a whole lemon without making a face and maintaining direct eye contact,
That's intimidating.
It works. It's intimidating, and I've scared some people doing
I'm
it.
scared just thinking about that.
Like,
Like that lemon had a family and you're just eating it hot.
all right. Thank you for.
Yeah. As to how we're so cool, I don't know. I just dress like I see people, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just pretend to be. I have a theater theater degree rather. It's all an act. I'm a dork. Anyway.
I think you're cool, but anyway. Anyone who can pull up like the harlot sweater with the ripped jeans and the hat, really cool.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Andrea Capolo.bsky.social, and this one's also about food, so we've kind of already touched on it, but if there's anything that you want to add, you can. Food during your trip in Japan, what was the most delicious, weird, gross, and unexpected? Delicious sushi.
Mine was
I don't think I had anything gross.
My delicious was gay
Weird.
dumplings.
I think weird and unexpected were double
happiness ramen.
fried grapes.
Oh, true.
Double fried grapes. Yeah.
What?
I don't think I had anything gross.
Unexpected to me was inari, the rice balls with pickled plum in the middle. So I was just eating rice and plum with seaweed, and it's not a combination that I kind of expected to enjoy, but it was kind of delicious. Not expected though. I don't think anything was particularly weird to me from memory. And gross. I enjoyed everything I ate, which wasn't much.
Yeah, I enjoyed all the food that I had. Like I said, like finding food was stressful, but once I found food, it was delicious.
Did I tell you I legitimately lost 3 kgs on that trip purely because I wasn't able to eat every meal?
No.
Yeah.
I look okay. Are you okay?
Yeah, I had enough to get by. There's just sometimes I couldn't eat a meal. Anyway.
Next question comes from Jorban, jorban.bsky.social, and it's, how much Pokemon merch did you see? Yeah, I guess a lot. I did like a day in Tokyo by myself, before going to Osaka. I kind of did a day in Tokyo. Anyway, whatever. And I went to Akibara. Hopefully I don't said that right. Probably not. But anyway,
I think you missed
it was like
a syllable somewhere. Akihabara.
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 Anyway, it was like there. That's when I got addicted to it. That's when I found out my love for gacha, and claw machines, and I bought. Yeah, I just got a lot of gacha, but there was like, you know, great stores that I went into that just had like a lot of fun, nerdy stuff. There was definitely a lot of Pokemon merch. Didn't buy any of it, but yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of Pokemon stuff everywhere. Like, so one of the things in Japan is that you're not allowed to have your like counterfeit goods and stuff. Like everything is like legitimately legitimate. So if you see something Pokemon related, it is an actual Pokemon thing. But you go to like your pharmacies, you find Pokemon themed medicine. You go to your Don Quixotes, you find Pokemon themed toothbrushes. At the airport at Narita, there's a whole bunch of Pokemon that greet you as you're leaving to get to your plane, like to board. Like, it's adorable. I've got a picture of my partner like hugging the Snorlax on the wall. It's so good. Yeah, there's Pokemon literally everywhere. And of course, like, I went to every Pokemon center that I saw. I didn't buy anything for myself. I was buying gifts for a lot of people. But, like, I kind of love Pokemon. So I was happy with it everywhere. It was all very adorable. There wasn't any at Universal, but I don't think that's probably because it's, like, no Pokemon. It's Universal Studios, right? It's, like, not Nintendo. Oh, no, they had Super Mario World. So they could have. But no, yeah. I don't see any Pokemon there. But it was almost everywhere, basically. Yeah.
When I was at the airport waiting for my flight, there was like a Pokemon vending machine. Also, did you see, I didn't do it, but I had some friends that did it. They had like those vending machines with like TCG packs inside, so you could just get like packs from a vending machine. Like you get like one piece pack, one Pokemon pack. Like, anyway,
I really wanted to.
Cool.
I found one, but it was like in a pachinko area, like pachinko, not store but building. I just happened to look through the door as it opened and I saw one in there. I'm like, I'm not going to walk in there just to buy a Pokemon pack.
There was one literally on the road right outside our Airbnb. Like, you walk out our Airbnb, there was one. Machine. Yeah, a booster pack vending machine. So I do know people who got them. Anyway, we have 2 more questions to get through real quick because this episode's getting long. Sorry, but we have a lot to say because we're in Japan, so deal with it. The next question comes from Jim Van Fleet, Big Fleet Jim, over from the Discord. And Jim said, what city in Wraith would you most like to visit? Would you want to move to any of them? Honestly, Wraith seems extremely dangerous. I'm gonna answer this based off of a private conversation that Kiki and I had.
You're gonna say Mysteria, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Mysteria because like literally everyone from Mysteria is really hot.
I was also just gonna be like, Mysteria is hot. Like if I was, say, from Wraith, hypothetically, I feel like I'd be from either Solana or Metrix for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So in terms of like visiting, I'd probably want to go to Mysteria or Aria, funnily enough. Like Volcor doesn't interest me all that much. Sorry, Mara. But the monastery is kind of cool, but kind of like too edgy for my liking. I was like, no, there's too many edgelords. That's fine. The pits is not my aesthetic, not my vibe. Savage Lands. I, funnily enough, do occasionally go through like forests and stuff for fun, but I just don't like to admit that.
I do that too, but like Savage Land seems a little...
Yeah, but angry.
I'm making a face, yeah, like an angry face.
I just want like a calm kind of like trail walk, you know? And that's like a way you get it from Aria.
I feel like Aria... Yeah. Mysteria might have that too, though.
Mysteria would, yeah. No, they had like the bamboo forest maybe or something, you know?
Yeah, kind of something like that. Yeah, that was nice. I did go to a bamboo forest. That was nice. Probably Mysteria because everyone's hot. But also, I think if I were to like, even though I like am a Kasai main and that's my girl, I just don't think I want to like wander through the desert like on a revenge. Like, it's not really my vibe. I do think I'd just be like dancing around Korsham in Aria if I were to like actually in Wraith.
Parties in Aria.
No offense to Kasai. The blood in the desert is like it's not my vibe. Yeah. Okay, last question comes from Nitya. Got to meet Kiki at Worlds, and I just wanted to say it was so nice to meet you and hope you enjoyed Worlds. And a question for the podcast: what was the best and worst part of your Worlds experience?
If I expand it from Worlds and make it like about Japan and like general, it's the lack of rubbish bins. Like, I would have so many days where I'd like just have to carry my trash around with me all day. And I understand it's the kind of thing they do to like make the country cleaner, so people are forced to take the rubbish home, but gosh darn it, is it inconvenient.
Yeah.
Worst part about World's experience was the lack of eating for me, though. I was like starving most days there, just because I couldn't eat very much. But the best part for me about the World's experience was just like spending time. That's such a cheesy answer, but like legitimately that's why I went to Worlds in the first place, was to spend time with like friends that I'm not normally physically next to, and to meet a whole bunch of them, like Elaine, like summer, like Ian, even friends I didn't even know I wanted to meet specifically at the time, and I'm just like, I'm so glad that I met you here. The people, as cheesy as it is, like meeting each other in the flesh and blood is what brought me into this game, and it's what I'm going to get the most out of. So that's my best part of the World's experience. And it also was really lovely to meet you. So thank you for the question. I'm really glad that you were able to go today too.
Yeah. I have the same cheesy response that just like the people, like I said, like friends that I got to meet people in real life for the first time, like yourself and like Summer that I was already excited to meet. I got to see my friends that I don't get to see unless we're at like a flesh and blood event, really, or I guess something else. But I got to like see my friends. It's also like I've moved a few times in my flesh and blood career, and so it's always nice to like go to these big events and like get to like reconnect with old locals. There also becomes just like such a special thing about like meeting like seeing someone that you saw at an event before who like maybe you're not even friends, but it's just like it's nice when like these people just become familiar faces to you. And yeah, like meeting friends I didn't even know that I needed or had, like Ian, for example. So it was just the people, just very special. Worst part about the World experience is probably getting scammed in a taxi, which I didn't really talk about a whole lot, but that was pretty stressful.
I was aware of this as it was happening. And just the sheer amount of like frustration and not quite panic, I guess, but just upsetness at this whole thing. You were getting real mad at the driver.
I was getting pretty mad because it wasn't even like I was getting pretty mad. Yeah, I was. But it was also just kind of like, what do I do? How do I like, because the driver like didn't speak English. If he did speak English, he wasn't communicating. He was just ignoring me. He was pretending like he didn't, I guess. So it was just like the sense of like, I don't know. Now I feel like, I'm in a foreign country and I really feel like I'm just like, I'm acutely aware of the fact that I am just like a girl alone in a foreign country right now. And I, like, how do I keep myself safe and get out of the situation? Anyway, it turned out fine. Everything was fine, obviously.
That just cost you more.
Yeah, it just cost some more money. By the way, if anyone ever finds himself in the same situation, what I ended up doing was putting the directions in Japanese on my phone, and then just like, because I made multiple comments throughout the taxi ride being like, we're not going the right way, like, can you take me this way, like, I think we need to turn here, like, do you, like, what's going on, where are we going? And like it was just met with like silence and nothing. So I just put the directions on Japanese on my phone and just like held them up and played it out loud. I mean, like, this is the directions, this is where I need to go, hello. And that works. So if you're ever, in a situation where there's like a language barrier and you don't know how to be a little bit assertive,
let Google do it for you.
There's a tip. Yeah, let Google do it for you. Anyway, that's it. That's all we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What an exciting time we had in Japan. And of course we have a lot of stuff still to come from Japan to come out of. That was horribly worded. We have more content coming up adjacent to our Japan experience. We have our little showcase game that we played, that we recorded, to come out in the future. And we will be, hopefully, we're currently in the process of organizing an interview with the world finalist, the inaugural Rainbow Pitch League champion, your friend and mine, Mercy.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, this was great. Obviously we've both been back from Worlds for a little bit now at this point. Like a week for me, and not very long for you.
4 days.
Yeah, 4 days. But this was the first time that we've gotten to like sit down and really recap it with each other. So
yeah.
Sorry if the episode was a bit long, but this was fun to talk about. I'm glad we got to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And glad we got to go to Japan to meet, and it all worked out and was great.
It was. I'm really appreciative for that. And yeah, so with that being said, quick socials drop, I guess. You can find us on find me at Bluesky at kikibird.bsky.social. Elaine at.
And me at ehamontree. That is ehamontree, like bacon on bush, pork on shrubbery. And yeah. Also the podcast is Pitch Perfect Pie.
.bsky.social.
.bsky.social.
Yeah, and by all means, check out everyone we've talked about. Follow Deb, follow Ian, follow Az, whoever else we talked about. Of course, check out Mercy, check out Ellie, check out Max Ferocity
The
on all your socials. Check out the Onceler. Don't mention it to Darkodius. And yeah, have an amazing time wherever you may be, Japan or otherwise, and we will see you next time.